Hey there, my name's Curtis Lucas and you're watching Empire Building. So, the tweet heard round the world just went out. And by none other than Elon Musk himself, yet again.
You maniacs! You blew it up! Oh, damn you! God damn you all to hell!
Love him or hate him, this guy tends to move things around. I have a more detailed video planned on this topic, but for now I did want to at least address the matter and give some initial thoughts on this. For Bitcoin mining stocks, just as we thought things couldn't get any worse, now we've got to deal with this. And this hits a little close to home since this tweet was specifically about Bitcoin mining. So let's just get right into this. Here's the tweet. By now, just about anybody has already seen and read this. Tesla has suspended vehicle purchases using Bitcoin. We are concerned about rapidly increasing use of fossil fuels for Bitcoin mining and transactions, especially coal, which has the worst emissions of any fuel. Cryptocurrency is a good idea on many levels, and we believe it has a promising future. But this cannot come at great cost to the environment. Tesla will not be selling any Bitcoin, and we intend to use it for transactions as soon as mining transitions to more sustainable energy. We are also looking at other cryptocurrencies that use less than 1% of Bitcoin's energy per transaction. Now, obviously, the reception to this has been very unpopular. Elon Musk has been known to be a rather controversial figure. He tends to say whatever's on his mind, regardless of the consequences. This is something that, as a former investor in Tesla, I also had to get used to. Needless to say, I have an incredible amount of respect for Elon Musk. I think there's very few people in this world today that has had as positive an impact on the overall future of humanity, for that matter. And overall, he's been a net positive for Bitcoin, I think. But in this matter, I do believe he is grossly misinformed. Not long after this tweet, one response was pointing to this document, which points out, and I'm going to take a little bit more time to confirm some of this, but this is pretty consistent with most of the information that I had come across in the amount of time I had spent researching this topic, but I am going to go into further depth on this. But for now, it seems that about 76% of all the energy used to verify transactions on the Bitcoin network, or for mining purposes, is already renewable. This when only 39% of all the energy produced is currently renewable. So a vast majority of the energy that we utilize in Bitcoin mining is already renewable. So it will be interesting to see how the market reacts to this type of FUD, especially in the Bitcoin mining stocks, seeing as how Mara in particular solely utilizes coal as its power source, which is the one that Tesla seems to have a problem with. I understand this, but having an issue with utilizing transactions in Bitcoin because of its carbon footprint doesn't make any sense. If your only alternative is to use the fiat system, which has a far greater carbon footprint than Bitcoin does. And it doesn't have any of the other benefits that Bitcoin provides. So if their issue is contributing to that system, then it does scream hypocrisy, or at least being misinformed. I do think that Elon Musk, and this tweet is clearly something that was prepared. It's not something that just sort of he tweeted out on the fly. This is clearly a prepared statement. So I'm not sure who is informing Elon Musk and Tesla, but they have more research to do here. As far as, the reaction as I'm talking here, this has gotten bad. From the point where Elon tweeted this out to at this exact moment, we've already dropped a total of 16% in Bitcoin. That is a huge fall. And one of the things I was watching out for here, and this is what you would call almost a black swan event. It's clearly an overreaction. So we're getting some rapid capitulation here. I'm only glad that this is happening at least after market in the mining stocks, because most of this reaction will be flushed out by morning, and I don't expect we're going to stay down here long. Might be a good time if anybody's got any money sitting around to go pick up some Bitcoin or Ether. I'm not sure where it's sitting at right now, but that's something I actually sold earlier today, considering the meteoric rise that it's been on. I thought from here, Ethereum has actually had dropped about 14 or 15%, currently down only about 10. One of the things I originally thought after reading that tweet is that, I don't know, maybe they're actually interested in what Ethereum is working towards. But of course, there are consequences to all of these factors, and this technology is still quite new. The experimentation on consensus algorithms, proof of work or proof of stake, and there are many others. Scaling these things up is what is being tested. Proof of work in the context of Bitcoin is a very efficient manner in achieving what Bitcoin sets out to achieve. It's not so easy to utilize in a smart contract or programmable system like Ethereum is attempting, which is why it's moving to switch to proof of stake, which is a far less energy demanding consensus. But it might not be the best method for a sound money like Bitcoin. These are all the factors that as investors and as users of this technology, we need to start to understand. But as I'm speaking here, Marathon, actually has slowed down its plummet, considering, it is after 6 o'clock, so my time, which 8 o'clock Eastern time. So even after market is now closed, and that finished off at $18.57. One of the things that I've been keeping an eye on here as well, let's just go back here to Bitcoin, see where we're at. First thing here is on the longer term chart. I'm going to go to an hourly here. We broke through this other trend line that we've been in for quite some time. I've redrawn that once already from where we used to be following this mark. But here it's not a good sign. However, on the weekly chart, and we had pointed to this once before, every time I see this chart, it looks more and more like, it gives us some perspective on where we've come from. But now that we've had this massive drop rapidly, this is a huge drop, most of this in the last hour or so, we have finally retested the 21 weekly average. Something I've pointed out before, we have not been able to reach since here, September 21st of 2020. That's roughly 8 months that we have remained above the 21 weekly average. This is a good positive development as far as price growth is concerned. It's hard to say how long we'll spend down at these levels, but this is an incredible buying opportunity. Also, what we're witnessing here is the effect of mass liquidations. This always puts oversell pressure on these markets. And again, fortunately, or depending on how you look at it, this isn't occurring during the open trading session when the mining stocks would have suffered the same fate. After market, the liquidity is not as great, so the price swings can be a little bit more dramatic. But if there are still people out there waiting for an entry, this is the kind of event that you're looking for. You're not really going to find anything that can push this much further down. So as far as time is concerned, this was kind of the shortcut to the bottom. So that's really all I thought I would cover, at least for now. But like I said, I am going to revisit this topic once I've had a little bit more time to put together all the details, because there's a lot of data that goes along with covering this kind of, I'm going to call it misinformation. But if there's one thing I have learned about Elon Musk is he is going to spend whatever time it takes to understand this. I think it's pretty clear that he cares about this technology, but he's wrestling with this one issue. But he is smart enough to figure this out. Whatever he chooses to do, in the end, is his choice. Just as we all make our own choices. The difference is his choices tend to have this kind of impact on a market, which is kind of just nuts as far as I'm concerned. Maybe people put too much stock in what he thinks and what he believes and what he's doing, which is a pure indicator that this type of reaction is based on emotion and not facts. And that's all for this one. Now let's get back to empire building.